once a matrix has been defined, you're then able to actually start to use that matrix for effects. And in the case of matrix effects, it actually allows you to start to run content such as images or even video content across your matrices that you might have defined. So I'm just going to go and open my visualizer. Fixtures 81 through 88, if I just go and grab them and turn them on, those are my LED lights that I've got along the back of my wall. And I've already created a matrix for those. If I go to options, let's go and just close my visualizer. If I go to options, more options, edit matrices, my back LEDs matrix is the one that we've already created here. And I'm actually going to use this matrix for some effects. So what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to go and open my effects list full screen. And I'm then going to go to my matrix here. And I can then create a new matrix effect. So I'm going to go and say add effect. And I'm going to add a matrix / LED effect. And I'm going to go and call this content. I'm just going to call it content for LEDs. It's a customizable name. That makes sense to me. And when I've done that, I can choose which matrix I want to use. And as you can see, the back LEDs matrix has already been selected. Now, what we've got here is we can choose a image or video file, and we can do that by saying select media. At the moment, well, the default image is being used, which is this kind of color map. And so I'm going to go and open my visualizer, bottom right there. We can see that there's nothing running across that yet. And in fact, if I preview my matrix, I've also not got anything running. This little button here, that is my matrix preview. And I can see there's nothing here. It's a blank stage. And so if I want to run this effect, I'm going to go and press my play button there. And in my matrix preview, I can then see there is content on my matrix. So if I go and open my visualizer, we'll see that it's still a dark stage because we're now sending content to the fixtures, but they've got no intensity. So I'm going to go and say 81 through at, and we can now see that they're not just coming on in their default color. We've actually now got them coming on in their information from the matrix effect, which is now running. We can see it's running because we've got our pause button there. I could stop it at any point by clicking my stop button. I'm going to click play, and that will mean that it's active and live on those fixtures. Now I can click a point in this zone, in this square if you like, and I can then actually move that box. That box that I've just clicked and added, that is essentially my matrix. And I can then move that matrix around within the image. I might want to go and make that bigger, so I might want to go and set the zoom to 10, and that will mean that you can see there that now that my matrix is pretty much the same size as the video content. But that's of course the default image. So I might want to go and say select media file. I'm just going to go and choose a picture of a sunset. And I can now apply that sunset across my back wall. I can go and move that left to right. You'll actually kind of see that as I do that, where the sun is, you can see that that's getting repositioned on my fixtures. So you can really start to go in here and choose where you want that matrix to be. Now you might decide, oh, well actually I want, in my example here, just some example, sunset colours. So I might want to change the zoom to 2 and position that. And I might then want to click elsewhere and add another point. And I'm then going to start to be able to run my matrix. Remember the square, that is my matrix. And I can then run that matrix across the image. And I could start to go and change that and move it around if I want to. And so you can then see on my back wall what we're starting to see. We're starting to get to the situation now where we can see that we're able to run the matrix over the top of video, over the top of us, just in this case, a static image. And that kind of makes it look like we've got some video content running. Equally though, if you wanted to, you could go and say select media file and actually choose a video file if you want to. But in most cases, for this kind of application, you'll probably may just want to load an image so that you can then have a kind of static image across your fixtures, or like I'm doing here, you can start to map your content across an image. I might want to go and add another point back at the start, and that way I can have it just simply bouncing back and forth if I want to. And so you can start to get really creative with what you do. And all of this is live saved. It's saved within my content for LEDs effect. But if I wanted to, I could now go and record this into a queue. So I might want to go and say, go back into live. That is still running. I'm going to go and say record, and that has recorded my Q31. And so now we are in Q31 with that matrix effect running across our fixtures. Taking that a step further, what I might want to also do is I'm going to go to my layouts, and I've got a magic sheet layout that I've made. In my magic sheet, which is kind of an overhead rig plan style at the moment, I'm going to go to I'm going to go and minimize my visualizer. I'm going to go to matrix, back LEDs, and I'm going to add that in. And I can now actually add my matrix to my magic sheet so I can see a little bit easier what content is actually starting to be run across that back wall, and I can see those pixels live updating in my magic sheet. So that is how we can use our matrices that you might have already defined. We can then start to run content across those.